Watch podcast featuring Lester Wiltbaum Jr. Lester, how are you feeling on this beautiful Friday?
I'm doing pretty good, man. Happy New Year.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Bear down, New Year. I mean, we finished off the 2025 year strong. Let's build a strong 2026.
Sounds good. Last year started on a great note with the Bears beating the Packers.
Yes, sir.
So
Is
so
it?
so so let's see it happen again this year. Let's get a win to start off the year.
It feels a little bit different today because we usually do it on a Saturday. Today is a Friday, though. So, I mean, we're into the new year. So, obviously, days are a little bit different. Work schedules are a little bit different as well.
Yeah. The period between Christmas and New Year's is like I never know what day it is because I always take a bunch of time off during this time of the year.
Hmm.
So like when I got a message yesterday from you, you're like, "Hey, let's do it tomorrow." I'm like, "Yeah, it's fine." I didn't realize it was Friday, and then I'm like, oh, "Okay, it's Friday. I'm home anyway, so I'm just chilling." So let's
Yes,
do it.
sir. Now, Lester, obviously, we played a Sunday night game last week. We played San Fran in San Francisco. A lot of us, excuse me, are still dealing with that heartache of a loss, because just like the Packers when we played them the first time, we were either one play away from winning or one play away from losing. And unfortunately, we lost that game. Lester, can you just tell us a little bit about things that you saw during that game?
It's so weird because this whole year, like, I mean, the Bears are not they've lost a few obviously, but
Mhm.
I've never really been mad after a loss this year because the future's so bright, right? I mean, like, yeah, the Bears lost, but they were in San Fran. That's a legit Super Bowl contender, and the Bears are right there with them. So, what does it say about the Bears? It says the Bears could beat anybody, right? I mean,
Mhm.
if you get a break here and there, why can't the Bears go all the way this year? I mean, it's possible. I mean, I'm not saying it's likely, but you look around the NFL and there's no like clear cut like, oh yeah, this team is going to be the juggernaut of the NFL this year. It just there isn't one this year. I mean,
Mhm.
there's a bunch of good teams, and then after that, it's like, who are you picking? So. The Bears hung with the Niners. The Niners are very well coached. I love what they do on offense. The Shanahan stuff is just phenomenal. They're playing good football, and the Bears hung with them. They just couldn't pull it out at the end, which these things happen.
Man, listen, it looked really great because, like I said, we were matching them drive for drive. We were
Yeah,
scoring, we were moving the ball, and not to get too tangled up, but that's been the thing for the Bears this year. They've been able to move the ball really well. They've been moving it surprisingly well after those first two losses that we faced this season. Because if you take it back to the first two games, what was the talk of the town? Oh, it's the same old offense. It's the
yeah,
same old Bears. Or we need to trade for a running back. The run game is
yeah.
just not there. And then look at us. But for this game, Lester, I kind of do feel like they like abandoned the run a little bit. They were pass heavy this game. Like, what's your thoughts on that? Like, what do you think made them decide to be more pass heavy this game versus you going to the run?
Yeah, a lot of times it's just like the way the game is flowing, right? Like the way things are scripted here. Like if they don't get early success on the run, sometimes they have a tendency to go to the pass a little more. It's all like the script. And even Ben always says, "Yeah, I should have stuck to run a little more." So I mean, he's cognizant of what he does during the game, but
Mhm.
in the moment of the game, it's kind of hard to kind of just stick to a plan because things change. If you get stopped on 1st and 10 for negative yards, now you're behind the sticks. If you don't pick up that first down in your own territory, now you have to kind of adjust on the fly. So there's certain things where you want to see them run the ball more, and I think this week against the Lions, because the Lions' run defense the last few weeks have stunk.
Mhm.
I know they got a couple injuries they're dealing with, but that team just kind of fell apart. So this has got to be the week where they just kind of stick to the run and just kind of pound it out and get this victory.
Of course. Now we know, Lester, that it's a team game, but who could you really put that loss on that we had? Because if you're asking me, I'm gonna say it had to have been a defense. You just can't allow play after play after play, first down after first down after first down. And if you look at the stats, the 49ers were 5 for 5 in the red zone. You
Yeah.
you can't you can't win football games like that when you can't get the offense off the field. And especially when it comes to the offense having the ball 20 minutes compared to year 9 when it comes to time of possession.
The week prior, they were the Bears red zone defense was perfect. They didn't allow the
Mm.
Packers any red zone touchdowns. So I mean, these things happen. Like I said, the Niners are a very well coached team. It's a really good offense. Brock Purdy, I know a lot of fans like to just look at him and say, "Oh, he's not that good." He's a really good quarterback. He
No,
he
he
runs that
is.
system to a T. And a lot of fans think, oh, he's a system quarterback. Well, who cares? Every quarterback's in a system. If you find a guy that's a good marriage and a match for what you want to do, that's perfect. Brock Purdy is a sneaky athlete, right? We kind of saw that in the game. He's a much better athlete than what some fans think he is. He's a good
Mhm.
passer. Um, that's a good team, man. I mean, I am again. Yeah, it sucks they lost, but that's terrible. Yeah, the Bears defense couldn't stop anybody. A lot of
Mhm.
injuries they're dealing with still. At some point, you got to hope that the pass rush gets home. It just doesn't happen. You know what I mean? So you got to get the pass rush somehow. Montez Sweat's got to step up a little more. Austin Booker had a decent game, but still didn't get taken home quite enough. He got the one sack, but just the one hit as a D line. So
Mhm.
get after the quarterback, get after Jared Goff this week. Focus on the Lions. Then look forward towards those playoffs.
Of course, of course. Now, in that game, Lester, who would you say was really the standout player of the game that allowed the Bears to do what they did do? Excuse me.
Yeah, Caleb, man, Caleb just been playing good football lately. He's just these last few weeks is getting better each week, each game, which kind of been the theme of the season, right? I mean, they kind of didn't really force anything on him too much. But we talk about system. He's a good fit for Ben's system because Ben Johnson has kind of molded the system around Caleb, right?
Mhm.
It's not the Lions offense he did with Jared Goff. It's the Caleb Williams, Ben Johnson Bears offense. So, it's just he's coming around, and each week is getting better. And we saw some critical drops again this week that kind of sucked at the end there. But these things happen. You're not going to play a perfect football game from anybody, and you'd love for that to happen, but it's Caleb, man. I mean, Caleb is this team will go as far as Caleb takes them.
Yeah, of course. Now, when it comes to the progression of Caleb Williams, Lester, what would you say has been like the key focal point for him to improve the way he's been improving?
Yeah, I mean the sacks avoidance is obviously a big thing that goes a lot to do with the O line up front, but also Ben Johnson's scheme. I mean, he's Bill Walsh, the great offensive guru mind, had a quote years back. It's like you can't do anything on offense unless you protect the quarterback. And I'm
Mhm.
paraphrasing a little bit here, but the really good offensive minds know you got to protect. And Ben Johnson came in. It's like we got to fix this. Obviously the players are part of it, getting better O line up front, but there is so much stuff with this scheme where it just helps out the protection. We see more chips. We see stuff with the running backs. We see the slide protection actually works. We see the O line. They're playing in cohesion. I mean, like in before, I don't know what they were doing up front. Like some of the way they picked up stunts made no sense to me. This year they're
Mhm.
playing better. They're coached better. That's the big key right there is those sacks down. And then you look at Caleb as far as individual, man, the deep ball is much better this year. I mean, last year his deep ball percentage wasn't very good. This year he's, I think, top five, top 10 as far as the deep ball. You know, he can't fix everything in one year. I know fans want to see everything done right away, but
Mhm.
it's a step here, a step there. It's progression, but look at where he's heading. I mean, this is a there's no doubt in my mind that the Bears have the franchise quarterback.
Of course, of course, of course. We got to speak on those rookies too, Lester. Those rookies have been playing lights out, especially on the offensive side of the ball. Whether you're
Yeah.
talking Ozzie Trapillo, Luther Burden, Colston Loveland, Cal Monangai. I really want to speak on Luther Burden, Lester.
Yeah.
Who would have thought that this kid would just emerge the way he's been emerging?
Yeah, our lead draft analyst Jacob Infante, he's been high on Burden for ever since he's been at Mizzou.
Mm,
Partly because that's where Jacob went, so he's always talk about his guy. But yeah, but I trust Jacobs of eval when it comes to these guys. He was really high on Smith and Jigma a couple years ago, where
mhm,
some analysts were like, "Well, I'm not sure about his how it translates to the NFL." Jacob was like, "Nope, this is the guy. He's going to be a stud. We kind of see what he's doing now, and he's kind of the same way on Burden.
mhm,
Look, he's just electric, right? When he has the ball in his hands, he does things I talk about on my podcast. I'm not saying it's like Devin Hester, but there are some moves, some quick twitch things he does when he has the ball in his hands where it makes you think. The last time the Bears had that was like a guy like Hester, right? If he
mhm,
catches it, quick stop, cut, spin. These are things that show his electricity when he has the ball. And yeah, again, I talked about the drops. He had one critical drop. It sucks. It's going to happen. These things happen. But man, you got to find a way to scheme him up get the ball in his hands as much as possible because he's a guy that defenses have to be scared of.
Of course. Speaking of drops, Lester, did you see that Burden and Colston Loveland had two key drops on the same possession?
Yeah,
And did you know
yeah.
that that was Colston Loveland's first drop all year?
It was, yeah. Lovin's been phenomenal. I've been saying all year he has the best hands, right, on the entire team. He is probably their best receiver. And the funny thing is he's also a pretty damn good run blocker too. So he's a total package. You know, early in the year, a lot of people around the NFL were like, "Oh, the Bears made a mistake. They took the wrong tight end." Like, slow your roll, man. I mean, this guy is a pretty talented football player. He's 21 years old when he was drafted. You know, and we're kind of seeing the total package of a tight end now as this year kind of went on. And man, between Loveland and Burden, the Bears receiving corps are in pretty good hands moving forward.
Of course, of course. Now, if it weren't for those two drops on that drive, Lester, do you think that would have affected the outcome of the game or
Yeah, it's possible. I mean, you get the momentum moving there. You got a couple catches there, and you keep things going. You have a little more time on the clock at the end, so yeah, it's
Mhm,
possible. But like I said, these things happen. I mean, I saw a stat this week that the Bears have the most yards lost to
the
drops this year
drops?
through the
Mhm,
entire NFL, and that's just dropped at the catch point. That's not talking yards after catch. There was that play by Zacchaeus a few weeks. I think it was 4 or 5 weeks ago where he kind of caught it and he had nothing in front of him. He would have ran for
mhm,
like 60, 70 yards. So that's not counting those yards. So
mhm,
you clean that up next year in year two when the players aren't thinking of the offense so much, they're just reacting. And I
mhm.
think you're going to see Caleb just, his numbers through the roof next year.
Speaking of Caleb's numbers, Lester, what is it? 270 yards away,
Yeah.
5 touchdowns away from breaking the record, 30 touchdown
Yeah.
passes, 4,000 yards. Will we see that in this Detroit finale? What do you think?
I think he'll get the franchise record for passing yards, which is 38-38 by Eric
Mhm,
Kramer. I don't think he'll get 4,000. It's possible. I kind of got a feeling they're going to run the ball. They're going to run the rock. I know they want 4,000, right? I mean, that's something that they've talked about. That's something that's talked about pretty much by the media every week because it's something that's had never happened in Chicago. But I don't care about it, man. I mean, let's just get the win by any means necessary because next year he's going to get it. It's going to happen. I mean, year two in the scheme next year, I would not be surprised to see him flirting with 4,500 yards next year.
but the haters will say, "Oh, it's so easy to get
Yeah,
4,000
yeah.
yards, and even with the added game, and he doesn't." I'm like, "There's only 4 players this year who have 4,000 yards, so make that make sense. If it's so easy, why is there only 4 players that have it?"
I think you said it right. It's the haters, right? They're going to complain no matter what
Mhm,
happens. If Caleb gets 4,000, then what will it say? It took an extra game to get it. So who cares, right? So who
yeah,
cares, man? Like those guys are going to talk trash no matter what because they just want to be mad and be sad and be pissed off about the Bears. And
mhm,
fine, let the Bears be the villains, right? Because I think that's kind of where they thrive at. They want to be the heel. They want people to be mad at them, and they want to go into your place and they want to shut you up. I think that's kind of what the mentality of this team is. It's Ben Johnson, man. He's just he's an intense dude, and the kind of thing that goes through the whole locker room. They kind of have that same kind of culture.
of course. Now, notice when we text off camera, you said that you were getting your injury report done. For some reason, when I looked at the injury report, it looked like they had Romo do what.
Yeah, Rome is he practiced. This is the first day today. He practiced in like 4 weeks, and it was limited. My
Mhm,
guess is he's still not going to play. This kind of feels like it's a ramp up, right? They're going to kind of get out there, get some running around in, take one more week off, and then next week that foot should be good enough to go. Then let him play it in practice and be ready for whoever they play in the first round of the playoffs. So would I love to see Rome back in there? Yeah, but I mean, I don't think you need him this week. Give him one more week off, and you got Burden back. You got DJ Moore still in the fold, so I think you're
Zacchaeus
fine.
is back as well too.
Zacchaeus is back, so I think you're fine. I mean, Rome is a good player, obviously, but give him one more week off.
Obviously, once Rome Odunze does come back, what does that look like for guys like Luther Burden, Colston Loveland, and their catches?
Yeah, I think Burden just slides right into the slot role. That's where he belongs, right? I mean, that's a great spot for him. Kind of work out of the slot most of the time. Rome goes back to being the big bodied X that I think you have there. Then DJ's kind of like your do it all Z, and I think you're fine. And then Loveland, look, Loveland's targets aren't going anywhere. I mean, he's
Mhm.
like I said, he's got great hands. He runs good routes. He's a mismatch all over the field, no matter who you try and cover him with. So the Bears want to spread it around. I mean, they've talked about how they have primary receivers differently and chains, built on each play. So it's not like they're trying to force the offense through one guy. They're comfortable with all these players. So I think let Caleb cook and kind of just let the passing offense kind of flow.
Have you noticed how similar their numbers are? 40 plus catches, 600
Yeah.
plus yards. That's insane, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember seeing that when in Chicago in a long time. Obviously, it hasn't happened when they've been good. They haven't had the guys like this. So yeah, I think that's just a product of the offense. I mean, Ben wants to get guys involved, and you know, like I said, different primaries built into each play, and he trusts Caleb to make the right decision when they get out there. So a lot of it is dictated by coverage,
Mhm.
like the pre-snap read. You kind of see it and kind of say, okay, this guy should be. I know he's my primary as Rome, but based on the coverage, they're probably going to take it away. So Caleb's learning this as he goes, and it's year one of the scheme. I think next year you're going to see things, explode even more.
Of course. Now we know Lester, the Detroit Lions, they don't have anything to play for this game. Do they
Yeah,
rest their starters or do they go out there and have fun in their season finale?
yeah, they're not going to rest guys, but their report's not out yet. But I think I did see Penny Sewell's probably going to miss. Alec Anzalone's got a concussion; he's probably going to miss. They got a couple other guys that they may just kind of sit out just because they're not 100%. I'm on Ross St. Brown. He practiced a little bit early this week, but yeah, who knows? I mean, like I said, some of these guys, it's like there's nothing to play for, right? So if the injury's to the point where they can't get hurt any worse, yeah, maybe try and get out there and finish the season strong. But I mean, if a guy's nursing a soft tissue injury, I can't see him, risking it. So they'll play their starters for a little while, but at some point, I think you will see them just kind of pull their guys and get everybody in the game.
Yes, sir. Now, when it comes to the Bears, how long do you think we'll see our starters for? Do you think we'll see them the entire game, or is that something that you pull halftime or first drive or two?
Well, the Eagles already announced they're not going to play their guys, right? They're going to
Mhm,
sit Jalen Hurts out, and the reason why that's key is because if the Eagles win and the Bears lose, the Eagles, of course, now are the second seed. So
mhm,
I think the Eagles kind of assumed the Bears would win this week. That's why they're like, well, we're going to sit our starters. It's not going to work out for us, so they don't really care. Plus, they're a very playoff experienced team, right? So I don't think they care about the seeding as much as a team like the Bears would because they haven't been in playoffs in years. So
mhm,
I think that the Bears will have someone watching that game, Bears or Eagles Commanders. And if the Eagles are whatever, like if they're losing, whatever happens, I think they're going to let Ben Johnson know. Maybe halftime they'll kind of update, and if it looks like that the Bears are locked in the two seed, I think you may see the Bears start pulling some guys. But I think they want that two seed. Having that
mhm.
extra home game if possible, I think is key for this franchise.
Of course. Now, when it comes to playoffs, obviously it's shaping up that it may be that three match with Green Bay Packers, Lester.
Yeah,
Are you nervous about seeing them come playoff time or?
I mean, look, it's the playoffs. Every team's good. I mean, if you weren't good, you wouldn't be. I mean, except for the NFC North guys; those guys are barely over 500. But
Mhm,
everyone else, though, I mean, the Packers are a good football team. If that's who you match up with, so be it. I mean, both games this year have been close. So I mean, the Packers should be nervous too, right? I mean, the Packers, they won the early one, but that came down to the last second. The Bears pulled off the second one, and the Packers are resting their guys too, so they're going to have all their guys rested and be ready to go for their first round matchup. So again, will they be rusty? They're taking the week off. Who knows what will happen there? Jordan Love ain't going to play. This would be now 4 weeks in a row he hasn't played football. So I mean, who knows what's going to happen here in the game? I mean, it's like it should be the Packers Bears if the Bears keep that two seed, and I'm fine with it, man. Get them in Soldier Field, let the best team win. And if it's the Packers, what are you gonna do? Tip your hat, say good job. This Bears team is their trajectory is going up. I mean, this team is going
mhm.
to get better and better each year. Ben Johnson, Caleb Williams. I'm so excited for the future, but also the future's now, man. I mean, this team is good, not right now.
Yes, sir. It's now or never. But Lester, what do we do about that defense? So we getting ready for the playoffs. how is it that we dial up pressure that they're getting home? I was reading the article today, and they were saying, "Oh, I kind of feel like Ben Johnson is kind of hiding the pressures that he's going to dial up when it comes playoff time. He doesn't want the league to know what he's cooking and have film on it."
I mean, it's possible. I mean, Dennis Allen's a good football coach. He's been around the NFL for a long time. He's got two head coaching gigs, on his resume. He was one of the better defense coordinators in the league for a long time. So I'm sure he'll have a plan. I mean, they're going to have a good plan, based on here to attack probably the Packers, and they can't rely on just your guys getting home. I mean,
Hmm.
that's something. I think Austin Booker can get there in flashes. Montez Sweat can get there. He's probably your most consistent, pass rusher. But yeah, you gotta dial something up. You got to give him some looks. We have seen the Bears do a lot of that mug front look where they got both linebackers in the A gaps. The reason they're doing that are trying to scheme guys open, trying to scheme these looks for the scheme up one on ones, for your guys inside. So you may see them blitz a few more in the playoffs. They haven't really
Hmm.
blitzed a ton this year, but you got to change it up, right? You can't just kind of do the same old, especially since it's the Packers. It'll be your third time seeing them, so they got something cooking. I'm sure it'll happen in the playoffs.
What's your update when it comes to a guy like Kyler Gordon, who they say should be available for playoffs? He only had to sit 4 weeks for IR, which this Detroit line would be that fourth game of him sitting.
Yeah, I mean they could bring him back. I mean, how serious was that re-aggravation, right? I mean, obviously it wasn't. Nothing was like ripped or torn, right? Or just kind of like he re-aggravated the strain. So I'm sure they know where he's at. I mean, I'm sure they're doing something. They can't obviously can't get on the field and practice, but the training staff, they're kind of eyeballing it and they know where he is from a physical standpoint. So I would not be surprised to see him activated on Monday morning.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So,
Open up that practice window, so to speak. Yeah.
what's your thoughts on this weekend's game? Bears beat Lions by how much?
Yeah, I think it's as much as there's nothing to play for on Detroit side of thing, the Bears they need this, right? They want that 2 seed and they want a little bit of revenge. I mean, the Lions beat the crap out of the Bears week 2, right?
Mhm.
These teams are in different places now, so I would not be surprised to see the intensity really ramped up. The Soldier Field crowd's going to be hyped. They have a chance to kind of, they haven't really seen their playoff bound Bears now in a few weeks. So they're NFC North champs. They'll have a chance to celebrate that in Soldier Field, and I think the Bears are going to win this one pretty easily. But I don't think they're going to run it up. I think they're going to kind of pull things back and get Tyson Bagent in the game and some of the other backups in the game in the second half if things look pretty good. But I can see him winning comfortably by 2 scores, 2 touchdowns, 14 points at least.
And you said Caleb Williams will be our first 4,000-yard passer this weekend, right?
I don't think so, man. I don't think he gets it. I think he gets 38-38, which would be the Eric Kramer's franchise record. I don't see 4,000 in the future. I think next year he'll get 4,500 plus easily, but I don't think it's happening this year.
Man, 270 yards, Lester. Isn't that just one quick play to Burden, another slant to DJ Moore? Like, I'm just being hopeful.
No, you know what? If it happens early, I think it's possible. But like I said, I don't think he's going to play the whole game because I think they're going to have this game in hand. I think they're going to run the ball pretty good because the Lions lately can't stop the run. So I think you may see DeAndre Swift get a bunch early. I think you may see Cal Montgomery get a bunch early, and then I think you just see the Bears coast to the victory. But I can't see them trying for the 4,000. Like if they're close, really close, yeah, maybe a pass here or there, but I don't think it's part of the game plan to get him that 4K.
Sounds good. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here first. The Chicago Bears will still be in mediocrity. We will not have a 4,000-yard pass here this year, but we will pull out the victory and we'll head into the playoffs as we get ready to face Green Bay.
Sounds like a plan.
Lester, we greatly appreciate you having some time. I'm your host, the most Devon Booker. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Lester Wiltfong.